Hello, I'm Fahad Mian, and this is my channel Prime Philosophy. And today I wanted to talk to you about the importance that we place on certain concepts in our lives and how how we should be aware of the way we treat particular ideas. And you may be wondering about the title of this video and whether I've just completely used it as clickbait or not, and I assure you I have not. The way I like to see math, especially in the last few years as I've sort of expanded my consciousness, I like to see math as mostly a hypothetical concept. So it exists on paper, we can talk about it, we can think about it, uh, but in the real world, there are no absolute values. So the concept or the equation of 1 plus 1, it can't exist in nature. It doesn't work that way. If we construct things on an atomic level, then yes, we can start talking about absolute values and how math actually works. But in our day-to-day lives, going outside, seeing things, understanding things, math I think it has to take a back seat. And if we look at the relative understanding of the concept of absolute values, this peach here compared to this peach here. Now, do we say that there are two peaches here? Do we say that there's slightly more than two peaches? Or do we say that there's slightly less than two peaches? Because no two peaches will ever be exactly the same size. They will never be equal. So should we really be looking at things in this manner, as a fairly rudimentary concept here, by looking at peaches? But Fahad, you might say, I need math to count my money. Well, money doesn't actually exist the way that you think it exists. You see, even our banks, if you read the terms and conditions, won't list money in the glossary. They won't have a hard definition of money. They'll attribute it as a certain good that has a value that can be exchanged with another good. So the notes, the currency that we hold so preciously in our day-to-day lives, can be gone pretty quickly. And it's something that we put a lot of importance in, the value of money, when we have absolutely no control over what the value of this money actually is. We are at the whim of some corporate financial structure out there who decides what value to put on this. We have absolutely no say or control, but we devote our lives to obtaining this and counting it and ensuring that we actually have a good amount of it for some reason that is not born within us. But Fahad, I need math to count how many apples I have, or I need it to weigh up how many bananas I'm going to buy at the groceries so that I can have exactly 1 kilogram, and I know what I'm buying and I know what I'm paying for. And I'll just have to tell you that 1 kilogram isn't 1 kilogram like the way that everyone thinks it is. 1 kilogram is not 1,000 grams. The official definition for a kilogram is based on the mass of the IPK. It's the International Prototype Kilogram. This was created in the early 1800s. It's a block of some alloy metal which weighs a kilogram and was placed in a couple of glass domes under atmospheric or vacuum sealed conditions so that it could always be referred to as the official mass and weight of a kilogram. And then they shortly after produced 6 clones of this and put it all around the world in the same type of glass dome vacuum sealed enclosures, so that if there was some war or some sort of catastrophe, that we could revert to one of the other clones of this international prototype kilogram and still have some sort of definition or understanding of what a kilogram actually is. Now, over the course of about 150 years, there have been 3 separate measurements, separated by about 50 years or so, of the mass of these 7 prototype kilograms, and they're all different now. They've all slowly just sort of spread apart. So none of them are actually the same weight anymore. So our understanding of the kilogram is something that's quite, or has become quite fluid, just like money. The value of money changes from day to day circumstances. What I can buy with $1 today is, or it may not be, what I can buy with $1 tomorrow. Yet we hold on to this concept of the dollar and the kilogram and these absolute notions being so unbreakable that we don't quite realize that they break every day, and they've been breaking very slowly over time. And what's the point of this video, you might say? Well, I assure you it's not so that you start thinking about me every time you count your money or your gold, even though I'm sure some of you won't be able to help it. The point of the video is so that you can recognize the things in our life that are and are not important, and how much of those things we can quite safely peel away and do away with. There are a lot of things that society has placed onto us as humans that encapsulate us, that hold us into the system of society. And as soon as you start realizing how much control you really have and how much control you don't have, well, you don't really have much control, but the more you realize that, the more control you'll really start to gain. You'll understand what is important and what is not important. And once you peel back what you are comfortable with peeling back in regards to these artificial notions that have been imposed on us through millennium, then you'll start to see the things that are underlying, the substantial things that are under there, that we are born with, that we should really be holding very close and dear to us, like love and deep and meaningful conversations, and the connection and communication that we have between one another, and hugs, and simple concepts like the warmth of a campfire. And once you start to appreciate those things, you can start getting into the inside of it, and you can start seeing your core a lot better. You'll start to see where you are placed in this universe and your importance. You'll start to place that importance on yourself rather than these absurd monetary concepts that, they're not essential for our existence. So I hope that everyone can start to get this notion in their heads about what really is important every day, what we can do without. We can certainly do without money. That's tasty. That's really good. I didn't need that outer skin on there. It was there for some sort of buffer protection, but really, once you do away with that, it's life becomes peachy. Love and honor and cherish one another, and don't let yourself be caught up in all these things that society tells you need to be caught up in. It's not really that important. Love you all. Talk to you later.